You are most likely paying too much for flights, but you're not to blame. Airlines are great at ensuring that you pay too much for your ticket, but I have 5 free techniques that I use all the time to stay one step ahead of outrageous airline pricing. I've used all 5 of them to save huge amounts of money on plane tickets, and it's helped me travel to places I never would have been able to visit otherwise. In just the past few years, I've used these techniques to book flights to more than 50 different countries. And remember, every single thing I go over in this video is completely free to use online. Do make sure to watch through all 5 of these techniques because they complement each other and you can often save even more by combining them. What people often do when they want to book flights is go straight to the website of an airline that they're familiar with, type in their search, and book whatever the airline website gives them. That's not how I book flights, and that's not how I want you to book them either. Instead, I want you to go to Google Flights. I like to think of Google Flights as just the search tool, and it's great for seeing all of your flight options in one place. The simplest way to use Google Flights is to put in your departure city and your arrival city, put in your dates, and search. It also allows you to add a bunch of different filters to your search. These include things like if you only want to fly non-stop, what airlines you want to fly, specific times of day that you want to travel, and a bunch of other ones. So once you have the search you want, you can then select the best flight option. From there, Google Flights will show you where to book the best price. But keep in mind that Google Flights is a search engine and not a booking website, so you won't be booking your flights there. The best place to book is still the airline's own website. It's just that without having looked at Google Flights, you might not know which airline's website to go to or which flights are the best to choose. One feature that I find super useful on Google Flights is the date grid. It shows you the lowest prices on different dates around the dates that you plan to travel. The cheapest prices are shown in green, so it's really easy to look through. So if your dates are even just a little bit flexible, you might be able to find cheaper prices by just slightly altering your dates. It's not always realistic to change your date of travel at all, but if you even just change by one day, it can often equate to a lot of savings. Another useful feature of Google Flights is that you can search with multiple airports at once. When I do a search on Google Flights, I always add departure airports that aren't necessarily the closest but can still be reached in an hour or two from my home. You can also add arrival airports in the same way. But if you're not a complete expert on geography and flight routes, this way might not always work for you. But there is a way that will always work to find those airports for you. Let's say you have a particular European country in mind that you want to visit, but the prices are way too high. Just like with Google Flights, you can type your airport in, but this time instead of typing in your destination, just type in Europe. This could help with picking a place to visit in general too. But if you're set on a particular place to visit, this could still help you get there cheaper. Once you are in Europe, you can get pretty much anywhere else in Europe with ultra cheap flights or on the train. So along with helping you save money getting to and from Europe, this technique gives you the chance to see even more of Europe in one trip. Using Google Explorer and having some flexibility with my dates has saved me tons of money over the years. But the thing is, what we've gone over so far requires you to invest time in searching that you might not always have. Depending on when and how frequently you're searching, you still might miss some great deals. Timing is a factor, and just finding an amazing deal using these 2 techniques alone isn't always going to work the first time you search. But luckily, there is a way around this, and it doesn't require any expensive subscriptions or much time. Nope, it's completely free and it's sitting right in front of you in Google Flights. I'm talking about setting an alert to be notified anytime the flights that you want to book drop in price. If you already have a good idea of when you want to travel and where you want to travel to, this could be your key to massive airfare savings. Let's say you do a quick search for some flights, but the price is just not right. Now, it's really important to consider when you want to travel using this technique. If you're looking at flights for next week, it's almost sure not to work. But if your travel is still further out, setting an alert in Google Flights is too quick and easy not to do. Imagine you're just going about your day when you get an email notification saying that your tracked flight now costs half of what it costed a week ago when you set the alert. That's a really low effort way to save hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But that's exactly how Google Flights alerts work. And did I mention that they're entirely free? But what if I find an amazing deal but need to make sure that I can get off work for it still? Well, I have a hack for that too, and it's called the 24-hour rule. Airlines might not love it, but in the United States, there's a regulation that allows you to cancel for free within 24 hours of booking for a full refund back to your original method of payment. This means when you see a great deal, you can book it right then. And if you need to, you can simply cancel for free within 24 hours of booking for any reason whatsoever. I'm guilty of using this free cancellation rule a bunch. Sometimes I've even used it to rebook flights because the price dropped unexpectedly right after I booked. This rule only applies if you're booking at least 7 days out though. And usually you'll have to book direct with the airline to take advantage of the 24-hour rule too. Still, some of the third-party websites do honor it, such as Expedia.
Some airlines like Delta even go above and beyond and don't enforce the 7-day part.
I've even seen some non-US airlines start to enact this policy for flights that don't even go to or from the US. So when booking flights outside of the US, it's good to take a look first and see if free 24-hour cancellation applies. One of my absolute favorite techniques for saving tons of money on flights is booking with points and miles. This has saved me thousands and thousands of dollars over my years of travel. I find it easiest to think of points and miles as a bunch of separate currencies that you can use to book flights with. The thing about points and miles is that each airline has their own separate currency, and some banks even have their own programs too. With so many options of where to start, it can seem hard to get started at all with points and miles. It definitely can be complicated if you try to do everything at once, but that doesn't have to be the case. Instead of learning about all the different details of how to use each type of points and miles to start off, I recommend that you pick one airline program and focus on earning miles with that program. If you're in the US, there are multiple travel credit cards that come with huge sign-up bonuses. These bonuses can often be enough to book multiple flights. But to get started with travel credit cards, I'd recommend picking one of the bank programs because bank award points are more flexible than airline miles. Since this video isn't just for folks in the US, I'll save a more in-depth look at how to earn tons of points and miles in the US for a later video. But even if you don't have access to huge US sign-up bonuses, you can still earn points and miles the old way by flying. I recently flew business class between the US and Europe on British Airways. Just by earning miles on those flights, I was able to earn enough miles for another flight between the US and Europe. So there is a lot of potential to earn miles just by flying. Once you have some miles in your airline account, redeeming them is relatively straightforward. Some airlines offer set prices based on the route, and they publish what's known as an award chart. Others use what's known as dynamic pricing, meaning the price can differ based on factors like date and routing. Many just use a combination of both of those too. The awesome thing is that it's completely free to open up airline mileage accounts. I recommend getting started by opening up one account with an airline from each of the 3 big alliances. A good starting point could be to open up an account with United, which is a member of Star Alliance, and then to open up an account with American, which is a member of the One World Alliance, and finally to open up an account with Delta, which is a member of SkyTeam. Since you can earn miles flying on any member of an airline's alliance, with those 3 accounts you'll be able to earn miles on most of the flights that you take. Still, if you're not flying very often, you'll do best trying to earn miles with just one of those 3 programs. Sometimes prices are just much lower on another airline, and it doesn't make sense to pay too much more just to earn miles in most cases. Down the line, it's smart to have an account with more than just 3 programs. But if you haven't dived into points and miles yet, setting up those 3 accounts is the perfect way to get started. And if you want some more help getting started with what we looked at earlier in Google Flights, I have a tutorial to help you out, and you'll find a link in the description. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos to help you travel better. And if you found this video helpful, then please make sure to give it a like. I'll see y'all next time.